The IPL turns 30, the IPL 2017 turns 30 on Wednesday when Pune hosts Kolkata, and who would have thought that Pune end up being in the better run of form in the build-up to this game. 3 wins on the trot. Kolkata on the other hand have never spent lesser time on a field with the ball in hand. They have with the bat in hand. Akash Chopra was part of that team that got dismissed for 63. Now doesn't need to worry about that record because no one's going to remind him of it.
Thank you.
Because
Even
that
though
belongs,
you have, but
that
anyway.
belongs to RCB now, 49 all out. And Brad Hogg, always a pleasure. We're going to talk about Pune and Kolkata, who I think you guys have picked your colours wisely for. Let's get straight into match day, match point number 1. And we must speak of the one man who's quietly done a job that has gone unnoticed because of the eventual result and the manner in which you can credit Ben Stokes for one, MS Dhoni for another. But Manoj Tiwari's resurgence as a player. Here's a player who was touted up to be the next big thing in Indian cricket, injuries and all that. And now the IPL 2017 has made us see the best of Tiwari, striking at 167, whereas in all the time, and he's played a good number of IPL cricket, gents, 68 innings, strike rate of 113, gets the boundary even when he's sent in the last 3 or 4 overs, and an average of 45. He's done quite the job. Let's get Akash Chopra first on what you can attribute this resurgence of Manoj Tiwari to. 45 seconds, Akash, for you to tell me what.
Oh, well, a good domestic season for starters, and then at times you come of age. I think Manoj Tiwari looks like someone who's come of age, and also it's not just his strike rate in this IPL with regards to his other teammates. It's just head and shoulders above the rest, and therefore I actually think that he must be batting higher up in the order. And the moment 10 over mark is done, just send in Manoj Tiwari, because in T20 cricket, form is gold. If it's there, use it.
With plenty of time to spare. So who would fall below the order then, logically?
It could be anybody. I really don't. That's a minor concern for me as far as RPS batting lineup is concerned. If the moment you hit that 10 over mark, get Manoj Tiwari in, because he's not a floater. He's not a slogger. He's a batsman who has scored centuries in first class cricket. He's got a one day 100 as well. So he can bat. So just put some trust in him.
Okay, let me move from the batsman to the slogger. And
I don't like
due
that.
respect,
I do not like that. No.
I will rephrase that. Brad Hogg, the all-rounder. Let's move from the batsman to the all-rounder.
Disrespectful.
Manoj Tiwari, Hoggy, looking at the resources Pune have, Dhoni, Ben Stokes, where would you think would be the optimum use of Tiwari, who's actually striking it better, dare I say, than MS Dhoni and Stokes even at the death?
Well, I think Tiwari should definitely bat out number 4. Simple as that. He's the one that's in form. Stokes, Dhoni are just too slow with the bat and just can't get any rhythm at the moment. So he's got to come in earlier than what he is. The thing I like about him, he is a pure batsman. He's very busy when he comes to the crease. If he's not scoring boundaries, he's getting off strike. But when he does go for the boundary, it's not chasing the boundary. He plays a beautiful cricket shot. He picks the gap. And it's as simple as that. He's not really a power player. It's just the way that he finds the gaps. Brilliant player. Good. Okay. Matured.
So if you're watching RPS camp, you know where to bat Manoj Tiwari. Whoever it might be ahead of or after, bat him as high as you can. Let's move to match day, match point number 2 now. And while Tiwari's done a job with the bat, Imran Tahir, who probably didn't see himself coming to the IPL until a week before the tournament, he's led the way for Pune. He's been the preferred option ahead of Adam Zampa. And let's just have a look at some of Tahir's numbers to tell you how instrumental he's been. From leading wicket takers in the middle overs, Tahir stands at an economy of under 7 wickets, average of a little over 18. We've all spoken so much about Rashid Khan. Tahir's numbers seem to suggest in that phase that he's even better than him, as also Yuzvendra Chahal. So lots of leggies there. Let's go to Brad Hogg first and try and understand that. The use of Imran Tahir, again, it's not a team that relies heavily on their bowling. And as they try to build a bowling lineup around Imran Tahir, what is his best use, given the fact that there are a few players who are good of spin in Kolkata? 45 seconds for you, Brad.
I'd still like to see him operated outside the power player. I don't think he's consistent enough to be in that power play. He bowls with a lot of variations. He's not a very patient bowler, so if it's turning massively, he just won't stick bowling leg spinners away from the right-hander. He just wants to utilise all the tricks in his artery. So to me, he's best suited when the ball's a little bit older, the wicket's a little bit tackier, and he can get more off that wicket, and he can do the damage in that middle period. You want your quicks, your likes of Christian, Taka, Udit, get a couple of breakthroughs in that power play area, then Tahir come in, get through that middle order, put the pressure on KKR.
Okay. My God, perfectly on cue with that 45-second buzzer. Brilliant, Brad Hogg. Akash Chopra, where does Steve Smith use Imran Tahir? If we look at the entire tournament so far, he's been inclined to use him occasionally in the 17th over, more often than he used him in the power play. Just 3 overs in the power play. I don't know if that surprises you or not. Please tell me how you would go about using Imran Tahir. 45 seconds to you.
To know where he should bowl, we must identify the tough overs of a T20 game, and in my opinion, they are the first 6 and the bottom 4, maybe bottom 5. So if Tahir is your best bowler, then he should be bowling at least 1, maybe 2 on days in the first 6, and then maybe a 17th over and 1 over in the middle where he comes as a partnership breaker. But if he is bowling only in the middle overs, then I think you're not doing justice to his quality, the caliber, the pedigree that we talk about. I personally feel that Tahir should be, because they don't even have quality fast bowlers to bowl in the power play or the death. I'm not saying bowl him the 20th, but you must bowl him in the power play overs and use him as an attacking option and not as a defensive one.
Something you want to add?
No, I'm just glad that we disagree. There's vital points in both aspects there. He's your main weapon, and you just hope that that the opening bowlers can get him on the back foot. Leggies generally are best suited in that middle order where they can really turn the game in the favour of the bowling team. So I think he's more dangerous in the middle. And
personally, the only if I were to add something, Badri bowls obviously great with the new ball. And RPS happens to be, I think, the only team that has used spinners the least in the first 6 overs, barring that exception of Washington Sundar lately. Other than that, every team in every innings has bowled at least 1 or 2, in fact more, of spin in the first 6. RPS has adopted a slightly different strategy. Now it's working, so it's okay.
Well, I totally agree with you there, but Badri bowls different to Tahir. He's more of a skiddier bowler, and Washington in his first game and the second game when he came in and bowled in those power plays, it was very similar to Badri, and he got that skid and troubled the batsman to be able to get on top of him.
Okay, get yourselves out of that spin, both of you. Very good.
We can keep arguing about that, can't we?
I won't stop you. It's great for the show. Let's move on though, and let's talk about 2 players that would have been considered key weapons and big weapons for their teams in other editions of the tournament. Sunil Narine still somehow retains that reputation, shockingly enough, for his batting. But what is it about that battle between MS Dhoni with the bat and Sunil Narine with the ball that our numbers seem to throw up that surprised us? The story that the stats tell is that MS Dhoni is going at a strike rate of just 50 against Narine, has been dismissed once, and it is his lowest strike rate against any bowler. The funny part about this, Akash Chopra, is that Sunil Narayan's not had a great tournament either. So here we come with 2 great T20 players, probably right up there in the finest in IPL cricket, both not having the ideal form they want with their respective disciplines. How does this matchup potentially affect the game? KKR versus Pune. 45 seconds for you to tell me about that.
It's quite an interesting stat actually. Numbers, obviously, they do tell a story every now and then, and this is an intriguing story. Narine hasn't picked up enough wickets because he's again bowling in the middle overs, but he's been economical. Dhoni has played 1 extraordinary knock to win Pune game against the SRH, but I think numbers are suggesting that Narine has a wood over Dhoni, and therefore I won't be surprised that Gautam Gambhir, the captain, will use him accordingly. The moment Dhoni comes, you might see Narine bowling an over or 2, and he might still get the better of Dhoni once again.
Something about him, as Akash Chopra is once again well within his 45 seconds. As I go to you, he's such a good player against spin, uses his feet. You've bowled to MS Dhoni as well, I'm sure, in the IPL. Just what is it about Sunil Narine that would put a batsman like MS Dhoni, who's otherwise pretty good at spin, in a tussle? Brad Hogg, 45 seconds for you.
Well, being at KKR for the last couple of years, I've had the opportunity not just to face him, but to stand behind the wicket and glove him. And even then, he bamboozles you. You think that you've got that extra time behind the stumps to take the ball, and blokes that are gloving it are missing by a couple of feet. And Uthappa does a fantastic job to keep you behind the stumps to him. I think Dhoni's a little bit hesitant to use his feet to him just because of the variations that he's got with the hand, the disguise that Narine has, and he troubles most batsmen. But I wouldn't be surprised with the way that Dhoni's batting at the moment, that Gambhir will try and utilise other bowlers early to Dhoni, and see Dhoni just utilise up balls, and when Dhoni starts get going, then bring Narine in. if Dhoni gets going.
There's one more thing. I'm obviously not using up my time, so I'm just making up.
Go for it.
He mentioned about not the inability to use feet against Sunil Narine. Dhoni doesn't sweep either.
Yeah.
So what are your scoring options then? You just have to stand and just hit one out of the park, which does not happen very often. And with the kind of form that we have seen, blowing hot, blowing cold, Dhoni, that does become an issue if you're not able to rotate strike. You're not sweeping. You don't reverse sweep or switch it. Only option is to just stand and hit in the stand. It gets a little difficult.
Actually, just noticing too, when they played Gujarat Lions, McCallum was playing on the back foot to Narine when he opened the bowling. He doesn't try and turn the ball when he is opening the bowling now. He's generally bowling some seam up type deliveries. Sure. And I think batsmen that are opening up in the innings against Narine are noticing that and starting to play on the back foot and try and play that cut shot a little bit more effectively.
I was just amazed that you complimented Robin Uthappa's wicket keeping. I think that's the first time that's happened on our show. Or in the history of the IPL.
No, I know he's good friends with Robin.
What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know.
No?
I just mentioned.
Stop it.
I remember a couple where I could put Robbie down, but no, look, I think that's the thing with T20 cricket. I think you don't go in with a specialist keeper if he can't bat. You've got to go with a batsman who can keep a bit.
Why, you were gloving it. I thought they should have played you. You would have been pretty good at taking Narine. Anyway, I'll leave that conversation. It's all in the past.
See, you obviously weren't listening, were you? Come on, do your job.
There is a bunch of bowlers doing their job for Kolkata in the middle overs. That takes us to our next match day match point. So why don't we jump straight to it? Because the likes of Chris Woakes and whoever else Gautam Gambhir has deployed in the middle overs seems to have worked. They've got the best numbers in the IPL in contrast to any other team. So let's just see what those numbers are like and why they stand out. Because 28 wickets in that middle over phase, Akash, 7 to 15, an average of 15, economy is 7.36. We have to talk about Kuldeep Yadav. We have to talk about the use of the quicks in this period too. So let's leave that last game aside, which is a bit of an anomaly. But just about Kolkata's middle overs and Gambhir's use of them as to why they've been as effective. 45 seconds for you.
Gautam Gambhir, I think, is one of the finest captains that we have seen in the IPL. He's been absolutely spot on. Every bowling changes with just one thought: pick wickets. And who does he have for bowling resources? Perhaps the best English bowler. You got Chris Woakes. You got a very good Australian in Nathan Coulter-Nile. You got the best T20 bowler in the world, that's Sunil Narine. Kuldeep Yadav, a Chinaman who will give you wickets. So he doesn't go to anybody who's not a wicket taker. So the moment you start picking wickets, and all these guys do, you will obviously be economical, because the best way to stop the batsman from scoring runs is to just send him to the pavilion, and they do that job really well. So he's using his resources. The resources are wonderful anyway.
Yeah, Brad, let's move to you on the same question. Look at compare these two bowling attacks, and I think it's easy to say which captain would you rather be for this set of bowlers. But just the use of him, and including not even using spin in the last game, where I can see many captains would have been tempted to just because they follow the norm. Just your thoughts on Kolkata's bowling attack if we compare them with other teams in the tournament.
I think they've probably the second best bowling attack in the competition. I think the Delhi Daredevils have got a fairly balanced attack as well. Obviously, Kolkata Knight Riders have got a better spin options, but the pace attack, or consistent pace attack, Delhi Daredevils. On Gambhir's captaincy, I just love the way that he sums up the situation. He's prepared to go defensive when the batsmen are on top, but when he knows that there's an opportunity there and he sees a weakness in a batsman, he just brings the field around and puts players in attacking positions. But those attacking fielders are also supported by good defensive fields as well. So it's an in-out field, but you've got catches around the bat, but you've also got boundary protection as well.
Okay, well done, Rado. Kept your time just about. Let's move to picking the 11s that Akash and Brad now have the task to do if they were the men in charge at Pune and Kolkata. You know, Brad is secretly in charge. He keeps texting his buddies in the coaching camps. I'm just kidding. Akash Chopra's, everyone just listens to what he says. So these are two men that do get it right. Let's just pick the first team now and see whether they've gone for any changes. Both these teams coming off confident wins from their last game. Now, Brad Hawk's Pune 11. It's just a toss-up between Dan Christian and whether he brings back the New Zealand quick Lockie Ferguson. Otherwise, I don't think there's any change in that team. Of course, he's already mentioned that he'd like Manoj Tiwari batting higher up the order. Why don't you tell me why you've considered Lockie Ferguson, Bradley, given Dan Christian is, among other things, Australian? Off you go in 45 seconds.
I think Dan Christian, all-round ability. I think he can really be a power player out the death if they need that batting option. I just worry about Stokes and Dhoni taking up too many balls, and then Tiwari having to come out and be more attacking or more aggressive than what he has to. And you've got that cover there. And Akash and I were talking off show with the option of Ferguson. Ferguson's a quick bowler, can be very attacking, and the Kolkata Knight Riders are predominantly an Indian batting lineup, and generally Indians don't like high-paced bowling, so they might go that option of Ferguson to really get stuck into that middle order of the Kolkata Knight Riders batting.
All right, Indian and one West Indian at the top who also might like some short stuff.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't utilise Ferguson against Nareen in the first 2 overs, but if Nareen gets away, then bring him on. I'd take the risk of one of the bowlers getting Nareen out early, and then you've got those 4 overs for Ferguson to operate against certain Indian batsmen.
Okay, let's see what Akash Chopra has gone with as far as his Kolkata team goes. Does he make any changes? Do they need maybe less batsmen given their bowlers are getting teams out for 49? Nope, he goes for the exact same team as I can see it. So there's no place for Trent Boult or Shakib Al Hasan in this team. Akash, 45 seconds for you to explain to me why you've gone with the same team against Pune.
I've got now 5 bowling options plus Colin de Grandhomme. So obviously I've got a lot of bowling options. That's what Kolkata always does. I was thinking about Shakib Al Hasan in place of Colin de Grandhomme, but I just feel that there has to be some amount of consistency with regards to picking your 11, unless you know that this player cannot play spin or this player cannot bat against faster bowlers. So that tactical move I can't see, or I don't really envisage happening. So I've just gone in with the same team. Don't change if it ain't broken. And this team is breaking the backs of other teams, and obviously are in a good space. So they look alright with the team that they fielded against RCB.
Very well. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Now, I won't have Akash for this pre-show, so why don't you tell me your prediction, Kolkata or Pune? At Pune.
Kolkata Knight Riders.
So to break that little streak, Parag, you keep your prediction with you because I'm going to keep that suspense until we have you at our 7:30 p.m. show. Always a pleasure. Thank you both very much. Make sure you tune in then for that 7:30 p.m. live show on ESPNcricinfo.com as well as on Facebook every day of the tournament. Use the hashtags to send in your comments and questions to our panel. And if you are watching us on our Facebook page, just tune in to the mid-innings show from the 8 p.m. game. We're live every day to take your questions and comments to Akash, Brad as well as Ajit Agarkar. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to us there. You have nothing else to do if you're watching us on YouTube anyway, so do this at least. Right, we'll see you again soon. Until then, bye-bye.